Hello, I'm Pilar Archila with Pure Gold, and I am in heaven. Not because I'm with Raymond Joyce.
Thank you. Thank you, Pilar. Thank you.
No, yes, because I'm with you, and because I'm surrounded by plants. This is paradise.
It is. It is. It is. You love plants, and there's a lot of folks out there in the audience that love them as well.
And I love springtime.
Right.
Well, I was going to say every single season, but I'm not very sure about winter.
Right. Winter's been really tough this year. It's probably one of the coldest we've had in a long time, and everybody's experienced from the ice to a little bit of snow to the wind to the cold. So a lot of folks have experienced, and a lot of people are glad to see some color, to see the leaves come out and
yes.
the flowers and everything coming out in the spring, and to enjoy this beautiful warm day that we're in today.
Yes. One thing that I'm not very sure is about my azaleas this year.
Right.
I've done every single thing you told me I should do.
Right.
Prune them when the flowers are done.
Already done. Right.
I don't have any flowers this year.
Right. Well, it could be several things with, azaleas and most anything, that went through this winter. A lot of it, I think, is probably going to be related back to the cold. That's the easy answer. The way to find it, if you've got buds and they didn't bloom out,
right.
Take and cut one open or pinch it open and look, and if it's brown inside,
right.
then it got cold. It got frozen by the cold weather that way, either through the ice or through the wind or something. But, a lot of times some of these azaleas will bloom at different times, so you may have some blooms that come on a little bit later, or either just not have, the weather just hadn't been right for them to open up yet.
If I see some buds
Mm-hmm.
and I open and they're brown,
right?
Should I just go ahead and trim?
Well, I'd wait till you said you had some on the bottom. I'd wait till they finish completely blooming out, and then just go in and do your trimming, and also fertilize them as well with an azalea camellia fertilizer, something similar to that for them, and get them ready for the summer.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can prune them with azaleas this time of year after they finish blooming. You can prune them down to, 6 to 12 inches from the ground. You can just take out the dead stuff, or you can just trim down the height a little bit. But now's the time to do that. I get a lot of calls in the winter. People want to prune azaleas because they've gotten big by the end of the
yes.
summer, and it's really too late because you sacrifice your blooms.
Right.
So now's the time. As soon as they finish blooming, cut them back, and then they'll start regrowing again, and kind of then keep them thinned and keep them pruned back so that you don't have them to overgrow so much.
Like in here, I see they have azaleas.
Right.
Is it a good time for me to buy them and just plant them? Should I buy an almanac?
I think you and James were talking earlier about the almanac. Now, a lot of people do go by the Farmer's Almanac. There's several different almanacs out there on the market. You can go online and pull down the almanac. You can also buy it or pick it up. It used to be given away a lot of times when I was growing up. They used to be given away, at a lot of businesses would have them. The pharmacy would have them, or a nursery would have them, and they would give them away as kind of an advertisement. But most time now you have to buy them. But, to say that they're wrong or right, we don't have any research to show that. My grandfather, Joyce, followed that almanac. He would plant, the vegetable gardens and all like that based on it. And there are many people today, just like James said, that he follows that as well. There's a lot of people do it. And so I always tell people, if it works, go with it, do it, and with that, because with the almanac, there are days to plant above ground crops, like peas and beans, and then there are days that the calendar says, the almanac says, plant the root crops. And so again, we don't have any science to say it yes or no. Again, it's all based on moon phases and some other things like that.
That was my next thing. I was going to say, in Colombia, we go by the moon.
Right, and that's basically what you do in the almanac. There are the growing moon, and then there's the shrinking moon, and different things like that.
You know that I cut my hair according to the moon.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. That's the way we do it in Colombia.
Okay, all right. I've not heard doing that. Yeah, mine, I must have cut mine on the wrong day then, you know.
You have to listen to me about
okay.
hair.
Okay, all right. Well, I haven't heard that one from a beautician standpoint or grooming
Colombia,
standpoint with that.
Now, a personal question to you.
Uh-huh.
Do you go about the almanac when it comes to plants?
No, basically, it's basically the day I have time to plant, I plant, or the day I buy the plants, I plant them that way. But, you know, people do follow that, and again, people always tell me it works for them and do it, but I basically just plant. And I've never really, you know, done that. Maybe when I retire, maybe I'll do that and kind of look and compare and do some
Sit
study.
down and
Sit down and do some
study
study.
the almanac.
Right. But, you know, I encourage, you know, if it works for people, I always say, you know, do it for that because, again, generations have done that as well. And, you know, even in our family, you know, people follow it as well. But I get calls from different times. But, again, the moon phases, you know, that's how, again, those days are picked. And,
So
again,
that's
from that.
how the
right,
farmers...
a lot of that. Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Right, yeah.
Well, I guess the farmers here and the farmers in Colombia, they they follow the moon,
right,
and the hairdressers in Colombia, they follow the moon.
That's a new one on me, folks. I've learned something today too. So I guess you can do a show on hair and one day, and you can talk about using the moon phases.
And I can bring someone from Colombia.
Right.
Well, Raymond, we're gonna take a short break,
okay,
and stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Pitts Toyota, downtown Dublin, where people go to buy great cars at great prices. We're a family-owned and operated full-service automobile dealership, serving Middle Georgia since 1947.
Hi, my name's Nick Camerata, General Manager of Pitts Toyota. I've been with the Pitts team since 2009. It's our promise to provide you with an enjoyable, stress-free shopping experience. We have a full-service website that's fast, convenient, and easy to navigate.
Hello, I'm Steve Winter, Sales Manager here at Pitts Toyota. We provide a balance between the big city selection and the warm, familiar atmosphere of a hometown business.
Hi, I'm George Key. I've been with Pitts Toyota for 34 years. When you come into Pitts Toyota, you'll be greeted with a sales staff who are knowledgeable, caring individuals, and our only goal is to satisfy you.
Toyota, let's go places.
I want a lot. Oh yeah. I want a career that makes a difference. I want an education that I can afford. I want to come out of college trained for a good paying job that actually exists. And I want help landing that job. So, I'm attending Oconee Fall Line Technical College. What do you want? When you choose OFTC, it makes a difference.
It's the feeling you get when great service, low rates, and good neighbors meet. Experience it at Morris Bank. Morris Bank. It pays to go blue.
No matter where you live in Middle Georgia, Lawrence County's oldest and most reliable heating and cooling company is just a phone call away. And right now, Middle Georgia Mechanical will service your system for only $69.95. And this includes up to 1 pound of Freon. Call Middle Georgia Mechanical today before that old unit lets you down. Call the best qualified, best trained, and most experienced in the repair and maintenance of your heating and cooling system. Call Middle Georgia Mechanical right now at 275-4530 or any of these numbers and have your system serviced today for only $69.95. Middle Georgia Mechanical, Central Drive, East Dublin.
We're here still in heaven. I would like for you to tell me a little bit about ferns. I love them.
Mm-hmm.
I have some that I bring in and out when the cold gets like real bad, and they look very much like the ones we have here. I have ferns like in front of my house that they're on the ground. I don't do anything, and they died, and then they come back every year, and they're gorgeous.
Right.
What kind of care do we have to actually have with the ferns.
Okay. Well, now, with the ferns you describe in your front yard, those are probably wood ferns. Those are native ferns, particularly in the area where you live. That neighborhood out there has a lot of wildflowers and native plants. And so with that, those ferns are what we call wood ferns, and those will die down and come back, in the spring, and the frost will kill them back. Now, these that we have here, these are ferns. Basically, if you want to save them, you have to put them in somewhere during the wintertime because the cold will kill them. I actually had some ferns on my front porch during the winter, and I forgot about them. I brought everything else in for the cold, and I forgot about them. And so they've got a little bit of green left, but hopefully they'll come back out again. But these back here in the hanging baskets that we see, these, as far as care of those, you need to put them where they're not going to be in full sun. They don't like full sun. They need to kind of be in shade. The other thing is water them until the point that they run water out of the bottom of the container. And again, during the summer months, fertilize them with a liquid fertilizer, based on the directions, 20-20-20 is good. The other trick with these, if you have them somewhere where you can, take the saucer out of the container, take the saucer, pop it out, and just let the water flow through the container that way, rather than holding that water. One, because it'll hold, if it doesn't drain out real well, you could have mosquitoes or something like that as well. The other trick is an hour or two later, come by and just tilt the plant up and pour the water out of the saucer.
So don't let the water sit.
Don't let the water sit. Just let it pour out, and it'll drain out. Now, the other thing that a lot of times people call say, I've got birds. A bird is trying to nest in my ferns. And they're fine. I mean, the birds will tolerate. You won't drown the birds if you water them with the water or anything like that.
And
the baby
eggs,
birds, the eggs, they'll be fine. Yeah, the bird will fly out and then fly right back in that way. But they like that because it's protected. It's near the house that way as well. Now, again, fertilizing, taking dead leaves off from time to time. And the other thing is with them, if they start to get a little yellow looking to them, even though you're fertilizing, mix some Epsom salts in water. There's some tricks to that. If you use Epsom salts and water and pour in, and it will green them up and give them that
Epsom
dark
salt
green. Yeah.
And will work with other plants?
With ferns. Well, it will work with other plants as well. But again, most of the time we use them for that. And it's only going to green them. It's not going to make it grow or anything.
So, just a little bit of water.
Well, basically you take a gallon of water, and it's about a tablespoon or something similar to that. I can't recall the exact amount, but you just pour it in there, mix it up, and then just pour it on the plants that way from time to time to keep them green.
That Epsom salt is so wonderful for everything.
Right, it's just green and growing. But then again, this fall, as winter time approaches again later this year, you can take them and put them, somewhere where they're protected. You don't have to cut them back or anything, just let them stay. And then if you've got ferns that have overwintered through the winter time somewhere, you might want to take and divide them up and re-put them in some new hanging baskets so you can they're divided. And every so often you do need to divide them because that container will get full of roots and the water will just run out, and so it's a good idea to break them apart from time to time and repot them.
I always thought that the yellow leaves meant that I was just putting too much water.
It can be that. Now, it can be that. Again, you want that water. And a good way to do it is to take the container and pick it up. If it feels heavy, when you do it, then it's got enough water. Yeah.
Do you remember that little fern that I have that the roots are like coming out all over the place?
Right.
What I do with that, I even put water on top, but then I go on this side and make sure that the roots are also very wet.
Well, what you'll get is basically you'll get with these ferns, what you see is you'll see these little roots come out like this.
Yes.
And a lot of that is just where the plant is trying to find another place to put roots. But again, this root, if it doesn't find any soil, it basically will die off. That, right. And that's the way a lot of these are propagated. In the old days, we used to take and put ferns in fern beds in greenhouses, and they would spread out, and the grower would come along and take the little rooted cutting or rooted plant and put it in a new hanging basket that way.
Oh.
Yeah, now most of these are done through tissue culture, where they're actually, they just take cuttings, tissue culture, that's a whole different story, but they do them a little quicker these days.
Oh.
Yeah.
Another plant that I really love is camellias. Is that a shady or a plant that you have to have with a lot of sun?
Well, the best place for camellias is basically to put them in some shade, filtered filtered sun. Basically, ideally, would be like under some pine trees or hardwood trees, something like that, interspersed. You can put them in full sun, but you tend to get more insect problems, scale problems. You also tend to get sun scald, where they get basically sunburn being out there, or windburn during the winter. But, here we can grow the sasanqua, which is the Camellia sasanqua, which is the fall blooming ones. And then we can grow the Camellia japonica, which are the big leaf and big flowers, and they tend to start blooming in December with that.
So my house is the perfect place for camellias.
Your perfect place for your house, because you've got a lot of shade under those trees, and you can just come in and plant them, intersperse them in there like that with that filtered sun.
What is the best way to care for hanging baskets?
Well, with the hanging baskets, basically what you want to do is make sure that you choose the right basket for the right location, or we'll say the right plant for the right location.
For the right location.
We talked about the ferns are more shade tolerant. If we talk about this verbena that's over here, right here, this one is more of a full sun plant. It likes the full sun. If you put it in shade, it really doesn't do well. For a long period of time. Now here, they just happen, this is where they can hang it for sale, but when you get it home, you want to put it in full sun. And the other trick is too, like with this basket here, this basket has several full sun plants. It's got the verbena, it's got the geranium, which likes full sun, and then it has some of these other plants here that are full sun as well. Most of the nurseries will have them so that they are all the same plants. But in full sun, again, you're going to have to water more. In shade, you're not going to take quite as much water. But periodically, what you want to do is go through and deadhead some of these flowers. Now, some of these plants may not need the flowers removing. It may do it itself. But like these geraniums, you'll need to come in from time to time and pick off the dead flowers or the faded flowers and keep them so they'll keep blooming that way. But the other is fertilize with a liquid fertilizer from time to time, maybe once a month. Some people will do it every 2 weeks. It's just according to how much growth you want off of them that way. And again, like I mentioned earlier, you can take the saucer off. This particular one does not have a saucer on it. And again, the water will flow right on through there because you don't want those roots standing in that water all the time.
Right.
And these, if they get overgrown, you could take and divide them yourself and make more plants out of them, or put them in, some pots or other than the hanging baskets that way. But
are these the ones in the hanging baskets, like the one we just saw? Are they annuals or?
Most of those are all annuals. Now the verbena, there are some types of verbena that are perennial that will come back. Again, it's not to say now that I can't keep that geranium forever and ever, if I care for it, because it can be a perennial. But again, you would probably need to divide it up, and take care of it that way. Right. And this is a Gerber daisy, and we saw some beautiful ones that I'm sure we got some shots of in trays. Gerber daisies are perennial. It will come back year after year. Again, it's a full sun plant. It likes to be in full sun. Another little trick with the Gerbers is to take and mound up the soil a little bit so that it's kind of up a little high, so this crown does not get too wet. And you'll see inside, you can see the new flower buds coming up that way.
Right.
Disease-wise, again, once they get growing, you want to cut back on the water enough just to keep it happy and going, because they prefer, dry, kind of on the dry side. But the other thing is they sometimes will get some disease called powdery mildew that will kind of show up on the leaves as kind of a white appearance.
Yes.
And you can use a fungicide to control that very easily. Again, if they're in the ground, you can get a slow release fertilizer and sprinkle it around, and that way it's always, every time you water, you're getting a little bit of fertilizer that way. And there's a number of brands. Probably one of the most popular brands is Osmocote, and basically it just releases a little bit of fertilizer every so often. Every time you water, a little bit is released, or every time it rains, that way. And again, you want to deadhead these as well.
Yeah, I used to have, when we bought our house, we had one like this. It was yellow.
Okay.
And for the first 3 years, I didn't do anything. But then when I noticed, this one every year comes back, I start taking care of it.
Right.
Until I kill it.
Kill it with love. Kill it with love. Okay.
It was fine until I start taking care of it.
Okay.
Anyway, let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Community Bank of Dublin, Lawrence County, located at 605 Bellevue Avenue, right across from the Dublin Post Office. Centrally located for all of Lawrence County to bank with us. I'm Chuck Harwell, Executive Vice President. I would like to personally invite you to come take a tour of our bank to enjoy the new banking technology we can provide with teller pods, ATM machines, safe deposit box, and extended drive-through lanes. The banking service that you will receive at our bank is equal to none in town. You will see the difference when you walk in that front door. We use common sense banking approach in every decision we make. Banking the way it used to be.
Community. Community.
Community.
Community. Community.
Community Bank of Dublin, Lawrence County.
We are Community Bank of Dublin, Lawrence County, the bank that's service built.
The season is around the corner. So get a brand new Kubota Commander zero-turn mower during Kubota's Get Something Started sales event. Now, get zero down and 0% APR financing for up to 36 months on a powerful Commander. Get professional performance, precision mowing, comfort, styling, and a full 4-year factory warranty during Kubota's Get Something Started sales event.
Freeman's Lawn and Garden, 1325 North Jefferson Street in Dublin. Call 272-2198. Since 1954, Lake's Alignment has stood behind every job they've done. And Blake and all his technicians are among the most skilled and experienced technicians in the industry. You can be assured every job is done right, from front-end work to brake work, or choosing the best tires for your vehicle. Lake's Alignment carries a full line of tires, including quality Toyo tires. Count on the best. Choose Lake's Alignment, located just off Central Drive at East Dublin. Call 272-4230.
I'd like to invite you down this year for the East Dublin Fire Department's 4th annual barbecue cook-off in conjunction with the East Dublin Lions Club Go Fish Tournament. The tournament's going to be the 25th and 26th of April. The barbecue cook-off will be on the 26th. Check-in times got to be started cooking by 6 a.m. that morning. Anybody who wants to come that Friday night and set up, welcome to. We'll be down here to spend the night with you. Our categories this year will be barbecue, ribs, chicken, and chili. Our judging will be that afternoon, and the times will be on your entry form. Entry forms can be obtained by calling the East Dublin Fire Department or coming by, going by the East Dublin City Hall drive-through, or check us out on Facebook at East Dublin Fire Department. Come down and see us for a fun day with the whole family. In conjunction with we're going to do the cooking and the fishing tournaments. There'll be something for all ages that day. Y'all come and join us.
Here we are with the knockout roses.
Right, that's one of them popular roses now. We call it a shrub rose. Again, it's not like your hybrid teas. A lot of people, the single stems, and things like that I'm sure your husband gives you, on a regular basis with the roses.
You're sure?
Sure. But he can be cheap by buying this. You have roses all the time, with that. But no, the knockout rose is a popular rose because it does not, it was bred so that it does not get the black spot, powdery mildew as bad as the other roses that we grow. And this is probably one of the most widely recognized as knockout roses. They're single flowers, there's double flowers, and again, for these, we talked about sun and shade. These should be in full sun.
I've seen mailboxes, people having these type of roses in the mailbox.
Right. Now, again, we can look at these plants, and these are probably about a foot or 12 to 18 inches tall. Now, these things will get taller than I am, if you don't keep them pruned back. And what I have found in reading and watching people grow these knockout roses is that, in February, if you'll come in and cut them way back to 12 inches tall and let them regrow, you'll get more color, more flowers that way than if you only cut them back just a little bit. So, but throughout the summer, you need to come in and prune them and shape them, keep them. Now, the great thing about the knockout roses, too, is that you don't have to deadhead. Like the regular hybrid tea roses, you have to go in and cut off the rose after it finishes. With these guys, they clean themselves. The flowers will drop off. And sometimes I'll get calls, people say they're not blooming anymore. And what they do is they kind of go through a rest period, and then they kick back into growing and flowering again. But great addition to your landscape, full sun, mass them together for the more effect. And they're different colors, that you can get, doubles, singles, and there's a multitude of colors out there now.
Okay, let's talk very quick about fruits.
Okay. Well, with fruit trees right now, you can still buy them, in containers and plant them now. But with the fruit trees, what you're wanting to do is make sure that to keep the fruit healthy, is to make sure that you spray a fungicide and insecticide on a regular basis. You can buy the little products that are a fruit tree orchard spray and use them. The other thing, as we're taping this now and doing the show, we haven't had a real severe cold to kill a lot of the small fruit on the tree. So again, it's a good idea to go out there and thin some of that fruit so that you have some big sized fruit. If you leave all of that fruit on there, the limbs are going to break and you're going to have little tiny fruit. But if you go in and thin them about the spacing of a dollar bill, you'll be okay, about 6 inches or so apart. Yeah.
Raymond, thank you so much.
Well, you're welcome. Always a pleasure, Pilar. Always a pleasure. And I'm going to go talk to my hairdresser about my when I need to cut my hair on the moon.
Oconee EMC is offering a fast, easy, and convenient way to pay your utility bill. We now have PaySite kiosks available at 5 new locations.
You walk up, touch here to begin. All you have to do is follow the instructions step by step. Use your agreement, that's just saying that you accept the terms of paying your bill, Oconee EMC.
Please enter your account number and touch enter.
You will need to know your account number for this. And we're using an employee's account number just for demonstration.
Enter your last name and touch enter.
It's very, very simple. Really all you have to do is follow the instructions step by step.
Enter your telephone number with area code and the last 4 numbers of your social security number. If you do not have a social security number, please enter the month and date of your birthday.
It's all sound activated. All you have to do is follow the instructions. If you don't want to enter your social security number, you can enter your birthday or 9999. That's not anything that we'll have to have. And hit enter.
Please select a payment type.
You can do cash, check, debit, credit card. Cash, you'll just enter or slide your cash through the insert cash here. It's so easy, but we will not be able to give change. If you need change, you'll need to go into the building and see one of our customer service representatives. We're able to take debit card or credit card. Check, if you want to pay by check, enter your check with the routing numbers at the far right. It will scan the check. You won't have to fill it out, and then you'll just enter on the touch screen the amount that you want to pay. If you want to pay by money order, we will not accept money orders at the kiosk, but you're more than welcome to go inside and speak with a customer service representative. They'll be more than happy to accept that money order, or you can put it in our payment drop box. And then you'll just keep following the instructions all the way through. They'll print you out a receipt with your where you paid, Oconee EMC. If you paid by cash, check, or debit or credit card, the account number, and how much you paid. They'll also give you a transaction ID number. So in case you need to come back in here and prove your payment or whatever your case may be, this will allow you to do so. It's easy as pie. We have done away with our drive-through with the payment kiosk. We also have 5 additional kiosks around our service territory for 7 counties. So call us at the office if you need more information.
Oconee EMC, always looking for ways to serve you, our members, more effectively.